let's clearly outline five pillars of health, which are absolutely important, no matter whatever you're optimizing for, absolutely important to have in your daily routine. So, to start off with, sunlight. Sunlight is absolutely important. Sunlight is the single biggest and most important factor associated with waking up. Like, it helps you wake up. It wakes up your uh, cognitive uh, function. Uh, it restarts all the important functions in your body. So sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, 5 to 10 minutes if you have direct access to, if you can see the sun, if it's a clear day, 5 to 10 minutes of sunlight will wake you up and activate those functions within your body. If it's a cloudy, dark day, maybe increasing that to 15 to 20 minutes. It's not important to directly look at the sun. Uh, there are light lumens around you, even if it's a cloudy day and you're not able to look at the sun. Just being outside, uh, your body will receive that light, right?
Absolutely. Just adding one more thing, it also helps your circadian rhythm, which is your sleep rhythm.
Yes,
So as soon
most
as you
important.
wake up, yeah, as soon as you wake up, like Parmeet said, just having that exposure to the sunlight, just seeing that sunlight just tells your body that, okay. And by the way, we always talk about primitive things. This is how the world used to work before electricity. People used to wake up at dawn and used to sleep by sunset as well, because that's when your day used to start and day used to end in terms of what you can do, what you can see, right? So it's just connecting yourself with your primal self and just telling your body this is the time that you wake up, and you need to do that consecutively every day. Try waking up at the same time. That's going to help as well with your sleep pattern, the circadian rhythm that we talked about.
100%. And people, the other things that we're going to talk about at the foundation of these five pillars of health are sort of well known. Sunlight is something that a lot of people miss out on and isn't given enough important as it should. So it's something very easy to do, free to do, and you will start to see impact in a few weeks. Uh,
Yes.
so
Parmeet, can I
definitely get your
mention one
sunlight.
more thing?
Yes, please.
All right, this is vitamin D3 as well. So, vitamin D3 is one nutrient that your body has the capability of producing by yourself. All it requires is the sunlight, right? So, it's super important to get that. I say this because I live in Dubai, and during not even Dubai, but by the way, most of the population in the world is deficient in that nutrient, and especially in Dubai, you have people taking injections or supplements to cater to your vitamin D3 levels. The reason is
Supplements for
because,
that. Yeah.
yeah, but the reason is because in the summers it gets really, really hot, so people want to avoid. We become vampires, and but yeah, definitely vitamin D3 is one nutrient that your body can produce by yourself. You just need sunlight to activate it, like Pramit said. So yeah, that's also going to be super, super important for your mood and for your overall health.
100%. Okay. That's number one, sunlight, guys. Number two, you want to go over nutrition. It's no surprise. Number two is nutrition. You guys might already know this. So, what kind of food should we be eating? How much water should we be drinking? What are the things we should be avoiding? Just very briefly.
All right. So usually, I mean, since we're talking about Huberman's morning routine, what he does is, or what he recommends is, just having a glass of salty water. That's just for electrolyte purposes and other.
So, that will go
Yeah,
over
yeah.
in our morning and evening routines. In terms of nutrition, like, uh,
So personally, for me, what I do is that I don't eat anything. You know that as well. So I do fasted, but definitely in the morning you can start off with something light. We always recommend foods that are not processed, that are not out of the bag. So
exactly.
just having some fruit or some let's say a little bit of oatmeal, a little bit of protein in the morning would help. Nothing
Yeah.
that inducing. A little bit of fats such as nuts would also help, just so that your body can be in the rhythm. You don't feel that heavy and you don't have a cloudy mind. So yeah, just something light on your feet and something on the go.
Yeah, 100%. You can find uh, different PMI calculators to check where you sort of fall and calculate your maintenance calories. You don't necessarily have to do that. In terms of nutrition, the lesser ingredients, the better. The less
Yes, sir.
processed, the better. Uh, Whole foods are definitely the best. Uh, Eating raw vegetables, fruits, meat, fish, chicken, uh, grains, legumes, uh, seeds, nuts. The less processed they are, the less ingredients they're mixed with, the less they've been messed up with their chemistry, internal chemistry, the better it is for you. So whatever just comes from the earth, yeah, and it's not processed, right? So that is the best way. And in terms of water, 2 to 3 liters is absolutely essential. Water is one thing that, like, having less of water will create so many problems in your body. So it's absolutely essential that you have 2 to 3 liters of water every day without compromise, right? So that's nutrition as clean as you can. Most of these things are very straightforward and self-explanatory. They're very easy to understand, and you already know this as well. The less you process the food, the better and nutritious it is for you. So that's the second pillar of health. Moving on to the third one, sleep. How much sleep do we need, Anas?
All right, so sleep generally you can take between 6 to 8 hours, but I've always said, and the most important thing is your quality of sleep. You can sleep for 12 hours, and I've seen people sleep for 12 hours and they still wake up tired, fatigued, not really well rested, and that's because of the quality of their sleep. It depends what you do before as well. So, quality of sleep really matters, but 6 to 8 hours is the optimal time.
I would go ahead and say a little bit, like, I would say seven maybe is the minimum. Anas sleeps less, and it might work for some people, I guess. It doesn't necessarily work for me, and majority of the studies I've seen as well, they recommend minimum 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Some people can operate on six as well. Sleep is very, very important. It's the single biggest uh, thing that impairs or decides how good your cognitive function is. Uh, Sleep decides how you age, your rate of aging. Uh, it helps you prevent injuries. It helps you be decides how much you're able to focus, how susceptible you are to distractions. Uh, so sleep is absolutely important, and obviously with aging as well. If you don't sleep well, you'll die early, right? That's a known fact, right? It decides your rate of aging. Everything that you do throughout the day determines how much stress you take on, and so on, and that determines how well you will sleep that night. Everything that you do throughout the day, right? So sleep is connected to everything that you do throughout the day, and obviously, like, eating bad food will impact your sleep, which will impact your rate of aging, which will impact your longevity and life expectancy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just like you said that actually sleep by itself, yes, definitely it is the most imperative thing to do. But what you do before that during the day, like Parmi said, is going to determine the quality of your sleep. So
Yes.
the quality of your sleep, yeah, you have to protect the quality of your sleep, the integrity of your sleep.
100%. Quality is very important. Most people like just focus on the quantity, which is 7 to 8 hours, and they might be able to get that. But most important is how much of your sleep is are you doing in your zone four, which is where your short term memory is converted into long term memory, and a lot of the important bodily functions happen there,
Yeah.
right?
And
Uh,
also, people don't realize how many times they wake up in the night, actually. So, for
yeah.
example, in a 6 hours worth of sleep, you might be waking up for 2 to 3 periods of 10 to 15 minutes. That really happens. You might not feel like you
Be
wake up, but
conscious. Yeah.
yeah, but you're up.
Yeah, 100%. I You can use a sleep if you're like obsessed and you want to get to the small details of it and optimize there. You can definitely get a sleep tracking device. Apple watches do that as well.
Apple
I
Watch,
wear
Garmin, yeah, Garmin Watch also does that as
Garmin's
well.
really good.
Yeah, yeah,
I wear Whoop, which also tells me a lot about my sleep and other
yeah.
things about my performance. So yeah, if you want to get to that, you can definitely track your sleep and get down to the details of it. But just a basic rule of thumb: 7 to 8 hours minimum, and then we'll go over some things in our morning and evening routine that can enhance or diminish your quality of sleep. Uh, Moving on, exercise. 20 to 30 minutes at the very minimum of exercise, at least 5 times a week, is essential for your uh, for your health. Uh, just increasing your heart rate and regulating it again and again is absolutely important for your cardiovascular health, and that just determines how well your heart is beating uh, under stress and not under stress, which then determines your obviously sleep and then your rate of aging. Cardiovascular health, deliberately increasing your heart rate and then regulating it, has shown to uh, bring your resting heart rate lower, which then determines basically the less beats you need per minute. What that means is every time your heart beats, that's supplying blood through your veins to your organs. So, how many times does your heart need to beat per minute to supply that blood to your organs to operate? The lesser it is, the better your health is, right? And the more cardiovascular activities you do, amongst other things that are also have an impact on this, that will reduce your heart rate. It doesn't necessarily have to be any specific kind of training. Walking is not involved. It's important that you increase your heart rate. Could be running, could be weightlifting, could be swimming, could be any exercise, any sport. Unless, for example, weightlifts, he's also got into running these days. Right, almost finished a marathon earlier this year, which was amazing. I myself also do weightlifting and then running and boxing on the side as well. Uh, it doesn't necessarily have to be extensive, or it doesn't necessarily have to be hours and hours and every day. If you are, you can do that for other purposes, but just to optimize for health, 20 to 30 minutes of resistance training or running or any kind of uh, sport or exercise will uh, give you those cardiovascular benefits.
Absolutely. I mean, look, after 3 years of having done this day in and day out, I am 100% convinced that morning workouts are just essential to start your day. Not only does it kickstart your body's metabolism and the things that you talked about, supplying fresh oxygen and just really activating your muscle and just feeling alive as well. You see, when you work out in the morning, when you get that stretch in, and like Parmeet said, you can do anything. But the idea is that you must increase your heart rate. For me personally, I feel whenever I go beyond the 150 beats per minute mark, I really feel activated. Like my cognitive ability, my energy levels, my mood, everything just elevates, and I have a fantastic day every day. I'm telling this from 3 years of my experience. A guy who never used to wake up in the morning, who used to work out in the night, not saying necessarily that that doesn't work as well. It works for everyone else. But for me, working out in the morning, getting my stretch in, like a full body stretch in, just making sure that each muscle has woken up. And because you see, I have a desk job, that's very important for me to have a complete stretch in the morning, getting my back straightened out as well. I do hangs as well for 30 seconds for 3 sets. I'm trying to increase that time to 1 minute. That really decompresses your spine. And then, like Parmeet said, just adding muscles to your body. Weightlifting is super important for your metabolism, be a man or a woman. And then, of course, running. Running elevated, I feel like, has been a game changer for me as well. Not only does it do wonder for my VO2 max, but just operating in that zone 2 and zone 4. just really, like I said, pumps my heart. I feel amazing, I feel elevated, I feel energetic. And I normally have 16-hour work days. So in order to get through those days, working out is very important, considering that I fast as well. So this is 3 years of my personal experience. I'm also trying to collect some data over here as well, just to be factual. But of course, you don't have to follow the same thing. uh, like Parmeet said, do your own thing, come up with your own routine, come up with your own workout schedule.
based on this. Yeah, personally for me as well, mornings works better, but there's and it has does have its benefits. But what's more important is that you get one in. If you can't get one in the morning, get in a workout in the evening, 20 to 30 minutes at the very minimum, right? And that's number four, right? And lastly, number five is socializing, community, the quality of your friendships. Uh, the quality of your relationship with your friends, family, community is the single biggest factor uh, uh, that determines the longevity of your life. And there's several studies done on this. We also did a podcast on this that you can check it out. Can't remember which episode it was, but we can link it in the description below,
For
where
sure.
we went over a study and shared that the quality of your relationships is the single biggest factor in determining the longevity of your health. And they've checked this in green zones. Green zones are places which have a majority of the population living in those places is over 100 years old. So they when they did research, were understanding different elements of their lifestyle and how they add to their longevity, and social connection has been at the core of it in all societies.
Absolutely. And Khushi Andani in episode 40 also talked about this, that we're a society, we're social being animals. And she said the same thing that you said, that in order for longevity, having a positive, happy, abundant life, you need to have that social connection. I'm privileged enough, Pramit also, and in fact, everyone in this world is privileged enough to have that human connection. We were not privileged enough when COVID was there, and you saw a lot of reports where people,
Yeah.
when they had to basically stay in their apartment, their houses, they didn't have that social connection, right? Especially people living in apartment complex, living alone. So that was just something that people were deprived of. So that's just very important, like Pramit said.
Yeah, and that's a real life example of that, right? We very well saw how that a lot of people went through depression, and obviously we were also very sad and upset, and I'm sure a lot of people were affected by it, and a lot of people at that time came out and shared how hard it was just because of having that lack of social connection. And it's so important, like, to understand as well, because we still had internet, we still could call them or FaceTime them or do those things, but just having that one-on-one physical connection, conversation can be so empowering and so enlightening. uh, and it can bring you, it can relieve a lot of stress, right? Which can reduce inflammation, which can then obviously increase your longevity as well.
Correct. Something I'm going to mention, I think everyone can relate. Whether you're going in an elevator or, okay, for me, during my morning walks or runs, I meet a lot of people. And it's like a sort of like, I don't know how to say, like an understanding, like a nod, because you see them every day, they see you every day at the same time as well. And
Yeah.
they're giving you like a hi, how are you? And it just feels very nice. I mean, there's nothing but positives over there. You feel like, oh, you know that guy, and they're smiling at you, you're smiling at them, and you never know what someone could be going through. Just a little bit of hi, hello, how are you, just checking up on them goes a long, long way for themselves and for yourself as well.
100%. It's an exchange of positive energy, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be a verbal conversation. Just passing on a smile uh, is an exchange of that energy that says that I acknowledge that you're here every day and you're working out, and I'm doing the same, and we're in the same boat together, and we're there for each other, and we appreciate taking this action that we are for ourselves. Uh, and yeah, it just gives each other that sense of belonging and community, right? You see people every day. So these are the five ones. It's no surprise that these five were the same five pillars of health thousands and thousands of years ago.